So when a person comes in for lumbar or lower back decompression, you first are going to have them lie comfortably on the table, and then we're simply going to apply these belts. The belts are to lock up the lower portion or the pelvis and also to kind of secure the upper part of the body as well. Now these belts are going to be fairly snug because we're trying to create a separation. So the next thing that happens, of course, is we have to get the legs in a comfortable position. The cable connects to the lower belt. Once the person is positioned on the table and the belts are on, the legs are elevated to a comfortable position. The next thing you do is you unlock the table. And the table then is released. And then the table, when the machine pulls at a specific weight, the table will start to glide or separate. And then of course the patient always has a safety button. We call it the release button. So when we set up the spinal decompression, it's set up to a poundage. So typically we will start the average person anywhere from 45 to 55 pounds of pressure. And that pressure will pull and release for a specific amount of time. And typically we start out at 10 minutes and it'll pull and relax across that disc. This is cervical or neck decompression therapy. We're simply securing the head. Then there's a collar piece here that tightens around the base of the shoulders, neck, which is going to allow us to create the separation as it lifts underneath the back of the head. The principle with cervical decompression is very much the same. It's just simply pulling and relaxing across the disc. On this table, it's not actually the table that will slide, it's actually this headpiece that will slide up and down this track, applying the pressure to the disc in the neck. Very gentle, very comfortable. On the normal mobility of the spine, the bones stack up and they're separated by the pad called the disc. The normal motion is just simply that. The disc allows for the bones to simply glide over each other. What happens in many conditions, especially in the lower back, these bones will actually start to lock down. But what they do when they lock down, they start to squeeze the disc. And you'll hear patients talk about this oftentimes. They have an MRI and they talk about a bulged disc. Oftentimes in the medical world, they try to tell patients that a bulged disc is normal. And my simple question back to them is simply, well then why aren't all the discs bulged? The bulging is simply created because there's that loss of normal motion and mobility. In the world of chiropractic, our goal is to simply restore that motion and mobility, whether that's through the spinal decompression, whether that's through a spinal adjustment. We're trying to restore that motion and mobility to take the pressure away from the nerve and of course to normalize the pressure across the disc.